Good morning. Hi. I'm really excited to come to you today with today's Facebook topic on non-toxic living. As I've mentioned before, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to do a Facebook Live. And on Wednesdays, my topic is non-toxic living. It's something I'm really passionate about because it has helped my family so much to clean up our lifestyle and our diet. So today I am going to go over a few little tips. If you are interested and curious about living a more non-toxic life, I'm going to recommend a few things. And I'm thinking about starting from every live from here on out, going week by week in how you can detox your own home and get cleaner and healthier. And I'm also probably going to share some resources, like I'm going to create a new sign-up group for an e-newsletter specifically on non-toxic living. And I have a non-toxic Facebook group I'm going to start up again. So I'm going to put some of those resources and some of the things that I'm talking about today in the comments below. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you are having a great week. Happy hump day. I feel like the week just flew. Yesterday went by really fast. I was like, how is it today over? But it's a great new day, and February 19th, I believe. So I hope you're having a good week, and I'm glad that you're joining me. If you don't know me, my name is Gina Badality. My blog is embracingimperfect.com. I am a freelance writer specializing in holistic living and non-toxic options. So today we're going to talk about non-toxic living. And if you were with me last week or you watched last week, I went over some of the reasons. So I'm going to give a few more reasons that are really important why you should do this and why I'm so passionate about. So in case you don't know, we're living in a really toxic age. And how do we know this? Well, cancer rates are awful. They're off the charts. There's something like 1 in 4 people get cancer. Now, if you go back 70 years ago, it was only like 1 in 500 people. So something is dramatically different about the way we're living now that is causing cancer. Not only that, but when I was a kid, there were no kids with cancer. And now cancer is something like the second or third leading killer of children. A couple of years ago, I think it was top killer of children. There's primarily, I think, 2 kinds of cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and leukemia, I think, are the primary types that kids get. But the thing is, I know that they say they don't know what causes cancer, but there is a lot of research that cancer is contributed to from toxic living. So what is toxic living? That is, we are today in our society, in our everyday lives, exposed to so many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of chemicals, many of them unregulated. We are also exposed to other forms of toxins besides just chemicals in our earth, air, soil, water. The healthiest food on earth is fish, but good luck buying fish that doesn't have mercury, or forget mercury, PCBs, all kinds of chemicals that come out of industry plants that go into the ocean. Ruin one of the healthiest foods. Like if you there are people who do biblical living, and if you know the Bible, Jesus ate a lot of fish. Well, it's not like that today. You have to be really careful with fish, especially if you're pregnant. You have to lay out how often you eat it. You have to be careful if you give it to small children. So everything in our society, in our current industrial world, is loaded with toxins. And there's another kind of toxicity that we don't always think about, and it's our toxic thoughts. Because believe it or not, science has shown that people who are positive, people who laugh, people who smile, people who believe in an afterlife, people who are optimistic, people who go to church or whatever your faith group is, all those things, people who pray, it's shown that they are linked to better health. So if you're sick and you take the mindset of I feel horrible, I'm dying, I don't want to deal with anything, I'm lonely, I'm in despair, you're actually probably going to get sicker and do worse on your journey to get better. So it's really important that we talk about all the things that are hurting us. Right now we're in an incredibly toxic political environment, and so people they get on social media and they scream at each other, and like, I guess people feel like they're getting it out, but really you're raising your blood pressure just on a simplistic level. Your blood pressure is rising when you get angry, when you get in these arguments that you feel you can't win, that you can't change someone's mind. People get frustrated, all that. Of course, we know that's bad for your heart health and for your cardiovascular health, but it's also bad for your brain, and it's bad for your immune system, and it's bad for your body. So those are the different types of toxicity there is in the world. So now you're like, okay, well, what's toxic and what can I do about it? So the bad news is everything's toxic. Everything from your heart, you are at risk if you remodel, if you buy a new bed, because it gives off volatile chemicals. They are now putting chemicals in the clouds. I know that sounds like crazy talk, but there's actually people from NASA who are geoengineering things in the environment because they think it'll help with climate change and all that. So there is in our soil, in the backyard, in your backyards, it's loaded with all kinds of chemicals. If you are using traditional lawn care on your yards, I'm sorry, your kids who play in that yard are being exposed to lots of chemicals. You go swimming, chlorine is a toxin. I mean, it's everywhere. And let's not even get started on food. Food is horrible. I mean, you have a little story. We went out to eat a couple of weeks ago. We had not been out to eat in 4 months. 4 months we had not eaten restaurant food, and we hadn't taken a sip of alcohol in 4 months. And we went out and we didn't drink, but we did have, we went to Red Robin, which is one of the few places we can bring our kids because they have allergy-free foods. And I tell you, we went home and we felt really sick. Like both my husband and I were like, our stomachs starting hurting by the end of the night. And it was like we had cleaned out all that garbage, because even though they're a trustworthy place, they're probably using MSG. Almost every restaurant uses MSG. MSG is really bad for you. And we really felt the difference of not having eaten in a restaurant and then going in a restaurant. We felt sick. So I think it's important that we know that toxins are killing. And here's the thing. Now, you can make a good argument that no one has proven that toxin X and toxin B absolutely causes cancer. There's lots of science that does link chemicals like glyphosate, which is Roundup, for your lawn care. And there's lots of science that are linking certain chemicals, but we don't know the full extent of it. And there's tons and tons of chemicals that are used in food. If you eat anything that you store in your freezer, there's probably chemicals in there, preservatives, food dye, BHT, all this kind of stuff. They're not fully, completely tested. In the United States, we use something called generally recognized as safe, meaning the scientists go, well, we've heard no complaints about this thing, so we think it's safe and go ahead and use it, as opposed to in Europe, for at least cosmetics, they use the, I always forget what it's called, the precautionary principle, which is if you don't test it, you don't know if it's healthy or not. So you cannot, if it's safe or not. So you cannot just well, no one's complained about it, so it's okay. So we do have lots of chemicals in our food, and that is one reason. But like I said, you can't always make a case. You can't say, well, we don't know if BHT causes cancer, so, why worry about it? Well, the basic thing is that I wanted to say this, is if you were exposed to nothing but clean food, clean whole foods, right? So organic produce and grass-fed beef and nuts and seeds and berries, good things that are healthy for you, and nothing that came in a box preserved, that you microwaved, nothing ever, that you drank pure distilled water that you knew had zero chemicals or all the junk that's in our water that comes out of the tap, that you used very clean cooking methods. So you never used plastic, and you never used Teflon, and you used everything perfectly clean. I'm not saying that you won't get cancer, but don't you think that your odds of getting sick would be reduced? I mean, it's just something to think about. So if you're convinced and you're like, all right, I want to live a non-toxic life, but how do I begin? You're telling me there are chemicals in everything. Where do I begin? Well, I think it's the old, the old, what's the metaphor? How do you eat an elephant? One piece at a time. You do one thing at a time. I think it's really important when you're treating yourself, your family, your kids, when you're detoxing, when you're making a huge lifestyle change, instead of getting overwhelmed by the lifestyle change, just do one thing at a time. And if I had to pick one thing for you to start off with right away, that's easy, will have quick results, is effective, it's going to make you feel better, I'd say go to your kitchen and if you either throw out all the processed foods and all the foods laden with sugar and anything that's not organic, or eat through it, and then on your next cycle buy everything clean. It's going to make a huge difference to switch to organic produce when you can, otherwise Clean 15 when you can, which are the top 15 clean products, clean produce, fruits and vegetables that you can buy that don't have nasty pesticides on them. And then, check the Dirty Dozen to make sure you buy those organic. So for example, always on the Dirty Dozen are apples and strawberries. You should always buy them organic, and that means organic applesauce and all those other items too. So you get rid of those canned soups. Don't even talk to me about canned soups. Usually have MSG in them, which is terrible, and cans have BPA. The lining gets into your soup, so get rid of all that stuff. But do it step by step. So let's say you're going to, okay, I'm going to stop eating canned foods. What can I replace that with? I'm going to change over my eating to make sure I buy any of those dangerous items on the Clean 15 list. As long as a fruit vegetable is not GMO and it has a thick skin, you're probably okay with it. So like pineapple and oranges, you can probably keep buying conventional. I'm a freak, I buy everything organic. But if you'd like to get an affordable delivery box, I understand that Misfit Market, I believe it's called, misfitmarket.com. They sell boxes for $25 and $35, but you kind of get whatever they give you. But it's all organic, it's non-pretty looking fruit and vegetables, but you get what they send you. You don't have a choice in picking it. So in order not to get overwhelmed, like I said, just pick one thing and go through it. So I'm going to share, so I would say start with food. The next thing you want to think about is detoxing your water. How are you going to approach that? You got to think about, do I want a whole body, a whole home system? Or I have a Berkey, but we're going to be saving up to get a whole home system. Because when you're taking a bath, that water goes into your body, so if there's chemicals in your water, you are soaking them in when you take a bath or a shower. I would say probably after that, look into your cleaning products. Maybe you want to do home cleaning products or some other solution where you don't need to buy those nasty chemicals. Get rid of air fresheners. Those are so toxic. There are so many chemicals in them. And you have to understand that the fragrance industry is not really regulated. And many companies, they put fragrances in not just air freshener, but in their cleaning products. And nobody really knows what's in them because they have proprietary formulas. So you could buy a product potentially, not know what's in it, and be allergic to it. So you don't always know what you're allergic to, because we're always exposed to the same things all the time. But if you're just gonna go out there and buy a new product, you might find yourself coughing and choking, and you don't know why. You might be allergic to it. So, and you know what? You can be allergic to even safe things. Your body it's your body chemistry doesn't align with whatever. For example, I usually get a lot of rashes where I live just in the winter. It's just I'm allergic to my town in January. It sucks. It really sucks. So I just wanted to show you a few things that I have and show you how I replaced it. I just picked up so a product I really like is Norwex. I just picked up body cloths. These are for my kids. I'm going to give them to my kids. I really picked them up so they could wash their faces, because they're not... So with Norwex, you don't need to use cleaning chemicals or any chemicals at all. And so I bought some of these, and these are... so my kids can wash their faces without putting the soap on there, because they hate putting soap in their face because it always gets in their eyes. So Norwex is a great product because you don't need to use cleaners. And in fact, I ran a party for my cousin. My cousin sells it. And somebody on some other group I'm in said, oh, buy the dish rags that they sell are amazing for cast iron. Now, we cook on cast iron because cast iron is fairly safe. It's one of the safer things you can cook on. And I tried it on the cast iron last night, and it was freaking amazing. I was like, where have you been all my life? Norwex dishcloth. So that's one option. Or you can make your own chemical free stuff. One thing you have to be careful of when you're buying non-toxic products is something called greenwashing, where they say they are green, but they still use chemicals that are not good in them. They may be, swap out the fragrance for essential oils or something like that, but there's still harsh chemicals in there. So you have to be really careful. True, clean, green products are going to cost more. They really are. So if something's real cheap, unless they're like going out of business or they have some kind of special sale or something, it's going to cost you. So you might want to look at DIY stuff. I work for naturallivingfamily.com. They have tons and tons and tons of tested DIY cleaning and other kinds of recipes. And the one thing I want to caution you is, like, I've tried some of them and they don't work well for me because I have hard water. So that's another thing we're saving up for water softener. DIY is a real tough sell if you have DIY cleaning products if you have hard water. So you might want to think about an option like Norwex. Norwex is a microfiber cloth, so you might find microfiber cloths in the store too. Norwex is a network marketing company, but there's lots of people who sell them. So if you're curious about them, ask me, because I know people who sell it. Just a few more things I want to show you. So another thing you could clean at is your medicine cabinet. So that's really important to me. We don't use OTC. Well, my husband uses painkillers once in a while. We don't use OTC, over the counter, as much as possible. We use natural and holistic methods. So for example, I have recently partnered with a company called Best Made. And one of the things that they sent me to try was this First Aid Herbal wound spray, and it's got calendula, and it's really good. It's very soft. So if you get a wound, you clean it out, you get a scrape or a cut, you just clean it out like you would with soap and water, and then you spray this on it, and then you can put whatever you use. I usually use Boiron or Silver Sol, which is colloidal silver cream. That's meant for first aid. Or Boiron makes a first aid cream too, with calendula. So I usually use one of those on my cuts and bruises. If I'm in pain at the gym, something I found really helpful is CBD oil. I don't sell this. I have a friend who sells this. this particular brand is very good, Hempworks. There's like one or two other brands that are really good. I got a sample from a brand, Charlotte's Web, that I thought was really good. When I looked at the sample, they had mixed it with a ton of other stuff. So it's very palatable, but it's not pure hemp oil. It's got olive oil and flavoring and all this stuff. This is pure hemp oil. This has peppermint oil in it, flavor too. So you want to find a brand. This is what I use for pain. This is what I use for anxiety, or if Zoe's super stimming, to calm her down. This is what I use. So I don't go for an Advil. I also use essential oils. When I have a headache, I find it's relieving to diffuse certain blends. I found it soothes my headache. I usually use like peppermint and lavender. So this is my brand that I sell. We are having a 20% off sale on everything today. So I got to restock my lemon. So this is, if you want to diffuse essential oils, instead of like throw your Glade out, get a diffuser and diffuse essential oils. You can pick up a diffuser for like 20 bucks. I recommend you get a glass or a wooden one, because you don't want to be melting the plastic. Although I do have a plastic one. But essential oils, instead of just scenting your house, they can calm you, they can relax you, they can soothe you. They have different purposes. So orange this one is energizing. The citrus oils are really great for you too. So I recommend you buy any citrus oils. Orange is wonderful. Bergamot's my favorite. I think I have the whole line except I ran out of lemon. I had like, oh, and mandarin. I had mandarin, and I was going to try mandarin the other day. I was going to make a blend with mandarin, and I look at my mandarin's bottle is empty. So it must have evaporated. I probably didn't seal it right. It's really weird. But orange, lemon, grapefruit. Again, my favorite is bergamot. That comes from the peel. Any essential oil. Essential oils are great. What I'm really doing now with essential oils is I have rosemary, and I am taking 5 drops, putting it in my dishwasher, washing machine soap. What laundry detergent? Oh my gosh. I put like 10 drops in my laundry detergent and I mix it up when I have a real super smelly load like gym clothes. So that is a great that's a great way to get rid of it helps. Rosemary essential oil helps. I recommend any of these. I recommend getting peppermint. Peppermint is great for so many things. Lavender and peppermint go well. I'm not a big fan of lavender, but lavender mixes with just about everything. I also like grapefruit is really nice. Like it's a nice change off of orange and bergamot. And frankincense is a great essential oil too. You can mix that up and make a nice mix that up with oil and make a nice oil for your skin too. So that's a great way. That's a thing you can do right now. But let me just caution you on essential oils. There are brands. Don't go down to Walmart and buy the Walmart brand essential oil. You have to find a brand that's really good and really pure. My husband went out and bought, you'll know the brand if you see it, if you shop at Whole Foods. He brought one of the Whole Foods. He was like, oh man, these are so expensive. And it's like, yeah, they're expensive because you got to use 1-2 drops. Like if you've used 3 drops of essential oil, that's usually like the max you need. So he bought a lavender and a peppermint from this other brand. And he's like, I can tell the difference between this brand and your brand. This brand is horrible. So he's been using it for other things because he's like, waste not. And I'm like, no, thanks. So brands that are good are, I shouldn't really, I sell NYR Organic sells essential oil. There are other great brands out there too. So you do your own research, see where they're pure, see if they have testing, GCMC testing, see if they are pure, where they're sourced from. All that's really important. when you're buying essential oils. So don't just go to Walmart and start, I'm not going to buy the Glade, I'm going to buy this brand of essential oil instead. Do your homework a little bit first to make sure you get a good brand. So those are some ways you can replace little things in your house. So you can replace, again, you can use the Normex, and then you don't have to buy chemicals to wash your dishes anymore, or use cleaning fluids, or use cleaning products. You could clean out your food by getting rid of all the processed food and switching to whole natural foods. And you could make a plan to detox your water, because your water is full of chemicals. But again, you just do one thing at a time. And I would say too, lawn care is a big issue too. But I would also say that if you are, if there's something, like if you're using a Glade plugin every single day, maybe you want to take care of that first. Like, that's really not good for you. So that's it. That is my expose on how to get started with non-toxic living. So one thing I'd like to do is I'd like to start a series and just go one by one through each product you can do starting next week. So I'll probably start with food, and food is going to be detoxing your kitchen alone. That's like 3 or 4 parts. I'm also going to be creating a new email list, and starting with a 4-part audio course that I've written on how to detox your life. So I'll be doing that as well. And that's it for me. So if you have any questions, please drop them here. If there's any topics you want to cover on non-toxic living, anything at all, please drop it in, and I will make sure to get it in my presentations in the upcoming weeks, answer your questions, do a little research for you. If you have a question about something, like, should I worry about my mattress? Should I worry about chemtrails? What kind of food can I eat? My child won't eat food, but I need to, they eat a lot of garbage. Is there really true that red dye number 40 is linked to ADHD? Any of these questions that you want to ask me, please go ahead and ask me, and I'll do a whole Facebook Live on it to answer your questions. I'm research-based. I'm a real research-based person. That's what I do for a living, is I sit around and I read research, and it's painful. But I want to make sure that there are studies that are not quack studies that really do support what I'm saying. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this Facebook Live, please share it with your friends. Please come back next Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. and we'll get started on how to detox your kitchen. And on Friday, I also do, I do more of a inspirational, motivational, self-care, health for women presentation at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you Friday morning, and Monday morning we're going to do at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. I do Facebook Live on autism topics. So great to see you here, and go ahead and share my video, and please come back next week. And I'm going to put some resources in below throughout the day. So thanks a lot. Have a great day, and remember to embrace the imperfect within you today. Bye.